In many countries across the Middle East, when a family has a meal of sheep meat, it's more than likely from an Australian sheep processed in their local abattoir within the last 24 to 48 hours. And while there are Western-style retailers springing up in many cities, selling imported chilled or frozen meat to meet the demand from the growing middle class and Western expatriate workers, to the more traditional locals, fresh means more than just not frozen.
Local by local and the local slaughter product, because they really want to know that the product is fresh. To slaughter an animal and have it fresh that day, and that's born out of tradition because of lack of refrigeration, lack of power supply in a lot of areas as well, just to get refrigeration. But it's more about the environment and the impact that's had on the way they prepare their meals versus do we want fresh or do we want chilled product.
Meat from locally processed imported livestock is also important for religious reasons, as some consumers only want to purchase meat that has been processed according to halal specifications in the Middle East. It's also important because it's a more affordable protein source for poorer families of the community. And it is for this reason that the supply of live animals is vital to the food security of the region.
Australian sheep is very important to our country here. It is including in the food secure of people here, because 90% of our consumption here is Australian sheep, merino. We will get many problems to get other sources for like this big demands.
The Bahrain Livestock Company's abattoir provides most of Bahrain's fresh meat needs, almost entirely from Australian livestock.
Every year, annually, there is some very increase, just rocketing in the processing and the demand for the Australian sheep, year after year. We started around 300,000 a year. Now we reach 750 and 800,000 like that a year. Just to provide, to assure the food security for Bahrain. And we have some other sources, but mostly we are importing from Australia.
The importance of Australian sheep to Middle Eastern countries is also evidenced by the fact that demand for live sheep has not dropped despite prices increasing in recent years because of the declining sheep flock in Australia. At the top of the Gulf, Kuwait has been the largest single destination for Australian sheep for some years now, and the animals are vital to the nutritional needs of its population.
Australia is the largest single supplier of livestock to Kuwait. They import other local livestock, the fat tail Arabic sheep from Syria and Saudi Arabia. But Australian sheep provide the large majority of the fresh meat that comes into this country.
And it's a similar story in many other countries in the region. In Egypt, though, Australian cattle are the basis for a new Egyptian beef industry. Sokna beef is produced right here on the Red Sea coast. High-quality cattle from Australia enter a feedlot right next to the port and spend 6 months growing to the right weight for processing.
The Australian cattle are the best cattle in the world for particularly these Brahman type for our trade. They travel really well on the ship, but they're really tough, they're hardy, they do well in the heat here, they don't have any issues.
Australian meat, grown and processed in Australia, is making its mark in the growing Middle Eastern food retailing sector. From niche outlets like Gourmet Egypt, which sells only Australian meat, to the massive hypermarkets of Bahrain and the Emirates, Australian beef and lamb has a very strong presence in probably the most dynamic region for food retailing in the world. Australia's ability to supply halal product underpins all its meat exports to the region.
So we are seeing some changes and modernising of retail, and the Middle East is just overtaking the world from the way they're moving forward with the pace, the speed they're gravitating towards new concepts, new ideas, and taking the best of the world and putting it into their supermarkets. We have a wide range of product available here. We have beef and lamb from India, Pakistan, local product. We have Australian beef, New Zealand beef, Brazilian beef, lamb from all around the world as well. It's a real melting pot, if you like, of what the world can sell to the marketplace. Fortunately, Australia is seen as being a very highly priced product, and there's some real dynamics in the market which are very interesting from both a live trade and a chilled and frozen trade. They need to survive together. They complement each other really, really well. Because if we don't sell the chilled or frozen meat to the marketplace, someone else will. If we don't sell the livestock to the marketplace, someone else will also sell the livestock.